All right, good morning everyone. How is the sound? This is my first time in this room. Very glad that you're here with us on Friday, our last day of the conference. I'm going to be working hard to speak slowly because we have wonderful interpretation service in the room, but they'll probably still have to sort of wave at me because I tend to get excited and start going really quickly. If you're here in this session, I hope you're here for Think Globally, Act Regionally, the strategic importance of regional activities. And I certainly need to thank ISA for their partnership in this conference. It's been wonderful to be here with all of them and all of you. Our folks on the stage, who I will introduce. And thanks to you for giving us your time. We appreciate it. A little bit of housekeeping. We invite you to join our upcoming event at ICUDDR. And today I'm going to introduce each panelist before they speak. So you'll hear who they are and then they'll give their presentation and we'll make sure we have time for questions at the end. So I share this stage today with very important people who are critical to the success of the work that we do at ICUDDR. So ICUDDR is the International Consortium of Universities for Drug Demand Reduction. And I'm Carly Searcy. I'm Associate Director for Programs and Membership there. The folks on the stage do the work to build and support our regional activities. They do the work because of their passion and their dedication to the field. And so I humbly thank them for their time, their expertise, and their commitment. So when we talk about regional activities in ICUDDR, you might not know what that means. Our coordinating centers do a number of things. They provide the local face and representation of ICUDDR. They facilitate many wonderful regional activities. So that might include conferences, learning collaboratives, webinars. They facilitate access to the different curricula that we offer. The universal treatment, universal prevention curricula for drug demand reduction. They provide linkages for members who want to do research and are seeking research partners, or maybe need consultation in developing their university programming. And so again, they're key to our success, and it's my job to listen to the expertise and the wisdom and use that to inform improvements in our overall work at ICUDDR. So it's my work in programming, membership. I do some work in research with my colleague Hala, who's on the stage as well. And then we also have work in systems change and credentialing. It's my pleasure now to introduce our first speaker, Alfonso Abarca. Alfonso Abarca has a master's degree in business administration, and for more than 10 years has worked as a specialist in the demand reduction unit of the Inter-American Drug Abuse Control Commission that we call CICAD, and that is part of the Organization of American States, or OAS. And between 2009 and 2012, he worked as a CICAD consultant with responsibility for managing training projects for service providers, working in treatment and rehabilitation in Latin America and the Caribbean. Alfonso has worked on the design and redesign of strategic processes for institutions that are dedicated to drug demand reduction, and in the coordination of high-impact projects and programs at the local and regional level. He did work for 15 years in the main non-governmental organization of his country, El Salvador, dedicated to research, prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and social and labor reintegration of people affected by drug use, in which he reached the position of general manager, the highest executive position of the organization. The portfolio of projects that Alfonso Abarca currently manages at CICAD are the relationship with civil society, CICAD's Demand Reduction Experts Group, and he has regional coordination for Latin America and the Caribbean at ICUDDR. Alfonso.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alfonso Abarca, and as Carly said, I'm staff member of the Executive Secretariat of the Inter-American Drug Abuse Control Commission, CICAD, of the Organization of American States. We are, as CICAD, the Regional Coordinating Center of the ICUDDR for Latin America and the Caribbean. Thank you very much, Carly, for the opportunity and for your kind introduction. Curiously, CICAD is not a university, but CICAD is a founding member, historically a founding member of the ICUDDR. Okay, I will share with you some of the work, activities, programs of the last year as the Regional Coordinating Center for Latin America and the Caribbean. But you need to know that I'm here to learn from the experiences and best practices of the other coordinating centers among the world. Who we are. CICAD, as a commission of the Organization of American States, the OAS, is the oldest international organization in the world. Principal policy forum for the countries of the Americas and the headquarters of the OAS as they are in Washington, D.C., my home. The Inter-American Drug Abuse Control Commission, CICAD, was created in 1986 by the OAS General Assembly. We are an advisory body for drug issues in the hemisphere, in the Western Hemisphere, and we provide space for forum discussion and to state solutions for the issue of drugs in the Western Hemisphere. This is the structure of the OAS CICAD. We have 34 member states, all the countries in the Western Hemisphere, and we have a commission, the CICAD Commission. The members of this commission are the national drug commissioners of the 34 member states. So we have a mandate directed from the member states of the OAS, and we have relationships with the ministries of education and ministries of health of all the hemisphere. CICAD has an executive secretariat, which is the technical body of the commission. The main document, the main vision and mission of the OAS CICAD is our hemispheric drug strategy. Was updated in 2020, and the strategy has a line of action, the plan of action 2021-2025. Let me share with you some key issues and key points about the hemispheric drug strategy of the member states of the hemisphere. Human rights are one of the key issues in this strategy. Vulnerable groups, gender, public affairs efforts, of course the drug dependence as a chronic and recurrent disease, the evidence-based policies for the member states in the hemisphere, the inclusive multi-stakeholder approach, and we have a unit in the phase of the program who is in charge of monitoring and evaluation of the hemispheric drug strategy in all the countries. The name is the multilateral evaluation mechanism, which is a unique mechanism of evaluation and is an example in the world of bilateral evaluation in the member states of the OAS. I'm a staff member of the demand reduction unit of the CICAD. I'm gonna show you a summary of what we do in the unit. We assist member states in strengthening their institutional, technical, and human capacities for the implementation of comprehensive programs, public policies, and work in the drug issue. We promote ongoing education and training, now based on the UTC and UPC curriculums. We develop as a unit and implements, of course, demand reduction standards and methodologies in coordination with the Ministries of Health, Ministries of Education, and National Drug Commissions of the 34 member states. Let me share with you some backgrounds of CICAD about the work of CICAD with the universities. We have a long history of relationship with universities in the 34 member states of the Western Hemisphere. The first thing that we did in the past was the introduction of the drug issues on undergraduate curriculums. Several pilot research and community development studies on drug-related issues. diagnostics of skills and competencies of human resources working in drug care facilities. Of course, the design of training curriculums by levels of competencies, the provision of training for service providers, the introduction of drug use, the drug issue and postgraduate nursing programs, and the design and implementation of a state and regional certification process. As you can see, we are working since 1997 to still today, working with universities. But in 2016, we structure a strong relationship with the International Consortium of Universities for Drug Demand Reduction, the ICUDDR, for the work in the hemisphere with universities. We signed a memorandum of understanding in 2019 with the ICUDDR, and the purpose of the MOU was to establish a framework of collaboration, cooperation, and work between CICAD and the ICUDDR. We have an article in this Memorandum of Understanding in which the ICUDDR recognized CICAD as the Regional Coordinating Center for Latin America and the Caribbean on the drug demand reduction activities in the 34 member states. Now, today we have 83 universities from 17 OAS member states, and I'm glad to share with you that we have conformed a regional working group of 7 universities which lead the programs, activities, and the work plan of the continent until today. Now, I would like to outline some of the regional work for 2023 and 2024 in the region with Latin American and Caribbean universities. First, and this is important, we have the first Latin American and Caribbean regional meeting of the ICUDDR. This meeting was held in Buenos Aires, Argentina, in the framework of the regional ISAP meeting conference last year, as I said, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, 2023. The objective of the meeting was to present, discuss, share information with more than 30 faculty members representing 21 universities from Latin America and the Caribbean. And the main issue in this, or topic in this meeting, was to develop a work plan 2023-2024 with the collaboration of representatives of 21 universities from the Caribbean and Latin America. Here you have some highlights of the meeting's agenda. The CICAD programs and projects for drug demand reductions, the ICUDDR strategic direction. The strategic directions are very important for us because we have to work aligned with the consortium in all the activities in the year. We have a workshop with Dr. Richard Pates on publishing addiction science. This was very welcome and important for the membership in the region. We have the participation of GCCC, the Global Center for Credentialing and Certification, because credential and certification is an important issue for universities, so they were connected with GCCC. We have a presentation of the ITTC, the International Technology Transfer Center Network, in the agenda of the meeting. And the third day, we have in the afternoon, all the afternoon, a work group. The 21 universities and the faculty members share their ideas and their expectations for the work plan 2023-2024 of the region. Let me share with you now about the 2 milestones activities this year. I said milestones because webinars and meetings are important, but this is like the symbol of the work in the region. The launch of diplomas, specifically in the issue of drugs in 2 universities in Latin America in 2024. On April 5, 2024, the academic program Diploma in Problems Related to Substance Use, Understanding an Evidence-Based Approach was launched at the headquarters of the Catholic University of Uruguay in Montevideo, Uruguay. And the same month, we launch a diploma on international interventions for prevention, treatment, and recovery of substance use disorders. Of course, our friends of the Executive Secretariat of the Directorate of the ICUDDR were participating online in the opening ceremony of these two launches diplomas in 2024. We had in November and October 2023 two webinars on publication of scientific articles on drug demand reduction. This was motivated by the presentation of Dr. Pates in the first regional meeting in Argentina. And this was a set of two webinars aimed to provide information on tools and criteria for the publication of articles on drug demand reduction. This was a demand of the membership in April, as I said, motivated by the outstanding presentation of Dr. Richard Pates in that meeting. We have three webinars in February, March, and April 2024 on knowledge transfer in drug demand reduction. We have the participation again of Dr. Kevin Mulvey in the opening ceremony of each of these webinars, and in the last one, the participation of Dr. Thomas Weber, which said a lot of the importance of this type of activities for the memberships in the region. Now, in the context of this global conference here in Greece, we had on Monday the meeting of the ICUDDR Regional Working Group for Latin America and the Caribbean, and we discussed in this meeting the updates and revision of the working plan 2023-2024, and we talk a lot about the new plan for 2024-2025, with the participation of Carly and Dr. Mulvey in sharing ideas about the future and the new vision and mission of the work of CICAD as the Regional Coordinating Center for Latin America and the Caribbean. Also, we proposed two panels that was held within the framework of this global conference. One last Wednesday about quality standards for prevention challenges in Latin America and the Caribbean, and one held yesterday on leading publication on drug demand reduction in Latin America and the Caribbean. This is our collaboration to this global conference, and we have a lot of, as I said, we have a lot of expectation with the future, and for the future in our countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. We have plans to have the new regional meeting, the second one in the Caribbean, Jamaica, I hope so, next year. So everybody is invited to participate in the second regional meeting. We have to share a lot from the universities in our region, and we have a lot to learn from you. Thank you very much. We will be happy to answer any questions about the work in the open discussion at the end of the panel. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Alfonso. They have so much going on. Sometimes I feel like I have to come to the meeting to understand everything that's happening. Just going to get the slides for our next presenter opened for us. Very good. So our next presenter is Dr. Prapapun Chucharoen. She led the creation and establishment of the non-degree training, the Master, MA, and the Postgraduate, PhD, Addiction Study Program at Mahidol University. Dr. Prapapun completed her PhD in neuroscience in 2003 and research fellowship at Harvard Graduate School of Education in 2008. She's on the editorial board of the Journal of Public Health and Development. She's also a member of the Asian Pacific Society for Neurochemistry, the Society for Neuroscience, and she's the former director of the Education and Research Department at the National Institute for Child and Family Development at Mahidol University. Her research specialty is in the field of child and family development and substance use disorder. Dr. Prapapun was appointed to the Colombo Plan's ICCE Commission, and she serves as an educational provider and lead of the Asia Pacific Regional Collaboration Center of ICUDDR. Dr. Prapapun, we're so glad to have you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Carrie, for your sweet word and welcome us. So the ICUD that we are involved since 2016. So we are as a Mahidol University, and this is a 12th university that we collaborate since 2016 for establish ICUD. On that time, we have 12 universities from Caribbean, from Southeast Asia, and North America. So, because you know that we think of the platform of university for research studies and support the evidence base. And since 2018, after we established ICUDD in Hawaii, Honolulu, 2016, the structure of the organization of ICUDD, we look for the regional coordinator. In my region, we are one of reputation for the Regional Collaboration Center. You'll see the two above picture as the former Executive Director, Dr. Kim Johnson, visit Mahidol University to explore our program and our collaboration in this region. Then last year, Dr. Murphy and the Board of Directors agreed that Mahidol University was support the regional in the next maybe 2 years, 3 years under the MOU. And this is a mission of the ICUD that we agree to contribute in our region, that build and support the global network of university and colleagues, approve the professionals and competencies and prevention, treatment and recovery, and to increase the access of the quality center. So this is activities under our regional that we support the research, support lecturer, support activities, research, and other activity that we can share among our region. And this is an example that we have the MOU among university in this region with South Korea and university under the Southeast Asia. This is a number that we have the MOU among our region. You can see the 2016 to 2021 that we have only 38 universities. But I mean, this is a number under region and not global. This is only our region. And then in 2022, we growing up for 54 university. And until now, last year, just only August, you will see we have 136 universities and 283 faculties members, because the members and the ICUD that you can apply as a faculty members, or the university apply as a university. So this is a number you will see we are a big group and growing up fastly. In our region, because the only one that support master's degree since 2004, so many universities didn't have the degree, but everyone have a UTC, UPAC or recovery program if they would like to continue the degree. How they can do? Because we are degree. Degree is mean that you apply for a credit. But UTC, UPAC, you have an hour. For example, UTC is 40 hours. Then we revise our program and repetition, UTC and UPC. This is 40 hours, how many credit, and then the student can apply and waive some course and jump to the research in master thesis. Since 2019, we are facing of COVID-19, and we talk more about the amount of the international students, because we didn't have international students can across the world to study in our program because of the COVID-19 hit us. However, we revised our program for online and microcredit, that students who complete UTC, UPC, and RC that can apply, like collecting microcredit and then jump for the dissertation. Like I said, that we support the where is the education? Oh, this is the principle of, or actually we have the principle of education that you see the previous slide, that we expand the university in our region. But this is a principal goal number 2, that we support colleagues in our region. What kind of support? Because all of us didn't have the grant much. However, if colleague in the region would like to collaborate with our university, so this is an example that we will talk among the government. This is a Japan government and Thailand government that agree to support research altogether and publish. And every month we have the research subcommittee in our region that conducted by Verna and behind Verna Philippines. She will help us to conduct every monthly of the subcommittee of region that we will talk more about. The next is the proposal, or next of the committee that would like to join us. This is the result. And for the principle number 3 for advocacy, we understand and recognize the UTC and UP. I am one of the commissioner of GCCC since 2010 and 11. I am one of the commissioner for the educational provider, and this year I am an acting chair of the GCCC commissioner. So we support the GCCC of the UTC, UPC, and URC in the region, like advocacy to the university. And the second one, last 2 years, maybe last 2 years or last year, I'm not sure, that we have a group of NASAC ICUDDR that we selected the person, the members who is the champion of the region to work, collaborate with NASAC. And the result is the qualify the program in the region and advocate. After we finish and have and qualify the program, then I return to my country to advocate to the Ministry of Public Health. That Ministry of Public Health should certify all of the professionals in the field to provide the quality of the clients. And the next is the, I didn't have the pointer. It will be good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, that's the problem.
Okay. This is a group of the champion that we work with the NASA. Thank you so much. You see, this is a champion from the Okay, I hope you hear me. And this is Diane that you know from NASA that we implement, and Joe implement the program, qualify of the program, and return to country to support the qualify of the program and certify the facilitators and provide the practitioners. And this is the Ministry of Labor that we support the Ministry of Labor for the happy workplace that avoid the substance uses or in that facility. And last year we have the training for all of practitioners in our region. And yes, Ezenwa. Hey. Okay. And for the principle number 4 about the dissemination, because you will work to support the result of the principle that you have. This is the dissemination that we disseminate the global trainer, because we have the global trainer and support the national training teams in our country and region, and staff of training institution, for example, university professor, for initiate national treatment and prevention workers. For example, this is a commissioner. We talk about the UTC, UPC, and RC that we should implement in that region. And yesterday, the Tuesday maybe, that we have a meeting of the commissioner here. This is the chapter that we have. We have the UTC, UPC, and translation menu. For example, we have the South Korea menu. We have the Arab menu that implement in their country. And next, we will think of the UPC in Thai also. During the last 2 years, we are facing of the international student in our program. So we have got the funding from U.S. Department, U.S. Embassy in Yangon, that please help to provide or support the practitioner in this region. And then we can't invite all of them join Thailand, but we think of the online. This is an online course that we will strengthening youth for the reduced narcotic use. This is 11 countries in our region that I support, and we designed 3 series for support the focal point and the practitioner. This is a series number 1 that we talk like a brain science study, and series number 2 about the treatment prevention, and the last series mental wellness in new normal life. You can imagine actually if online program we are facing the adopt of the participant in the course, but this is surprising. This is a surprising of the course that the participant emailed me that when the series 2 we are waiting. Oh, surprise! Finally, we are success to support the certificate by U.S. Embassy and ICUDDR. This is a walkthrough that we have UTC walkthrough last year that support the professional in the university, because the professional in the university cannot join the full day or long day in 40 hours or 2 weeks. So we support the walkthrough, the UTC walkthrough for the members in the region, and for the grant that we didn't have much from ICUDDR or our colleague. So I asked the agency in our country, CICAD. CICAD is the Thailand National Cooperation Agency that support money for Cambodia, Laos, PRs, Myanmar, Vietnam, and Bhutan to study in our program. That program that we support UTC, URC, and UPC. But during the years that we have the webinar along the year, for example, this is a webinar about the lesson first that organized and conducted by Verna again, that helped me to coordinate in our region. And the next that on last September, last 2 years, we have the national standard on drug use prevention, what school should know. This is because we try to keep connection among university in our region to continue support professional. That's the reason why we try to have the webinar. Thank you, Verna, that you support me a lot. This is a webinar of the gambling, because in our region we have a lot of gambling addiction. For example, South Korea, Singapore, and many countries. Although in Thailand we have a new phenomenon of the gambling addiction. So we are very lucky that Dr. Devin set up the webinar for our region. This is the next webinar that will talk about the community. We try to support the country leaders to provide the quality of the program. And this is a webinar. And the last one of the webinar that please join us on the July 26th, that psychological characteristics of the problem gambling adult and a primary on gambling research for Korean adolescent. This is a webinar that we try to support. Although we have a lot of activities and full goal education, research, advocacy, and dissemination, but we try to remind all of the colleagues in our region, all the professors and students, that true success is not in the learning, but in its application to the benefit of mankind to provide the quality of the program of the client. Right now, our office moved to the new office at the Faculty of Medicine. Our office moved to the Center for Health Policy and Management. We have the director here, Professor Emeritus Dr. Ponchai. He is a director of the Center for Health Policy and Management, Faculty of Medicine, Ramatipdi Hospital. And if you're interested to learn more about our center, we have the director of the center here. We have the alumni, B. Kim here. B. Kim, yes. Yes, he studied in our program for the practicum course, right? Because actually in student looking for a practicum, a course is not enough. We have a facility of the course, the practicum course in our country, because most of the facility is certified by global credentialing and certification global, not Thailand. The client is 100% is not Thai client, and national, and practitioner is international. That's the reason why they came looking for the practicum in Thailand, because in South Korea they didn't have the practicum facilities, for example, in national facilities. So thank you for the participant in this session. And yes, if you have any question, okay, we are waiting for answer and support all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prapapun. All right, our next speaker today is going to be Dr. Michael Ezenwa. He is Professor of Clinical Psychology in the Department of Psychology at Namdi Azawaki University, where he serves as member of the Directorate of Psychological and Counseling Services, the Research Ethics Committee, and is Program Coordinator, Master of Science degree, and Professional Master of Science degree in Employee Assistance Program. He also initiated and coordinates the Master of Science degree in Addiction Intervention in the Department of Psychology. With a doctorate degree in clinical psychology, he has conducted research activities for organizations including the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Prisoners Rehabilitation and Welfare Action, and Women for Women International. He served as the national president of the Nigerian Psychological Association, and he's a member of the National Executive Council of the ICUDDR Nigeria chapter and the Southeast Zonal Coordinator of the organization. And in 2021, he won Best ICUDDR Zonal Coordinator in Nigeria Award. Dr. Ezenwa, happy to have you.
Thank you, Carrie, and all the team from ICUDDR for the wonderful work we've been doing, particularly at this conference. And let me say that this report is about activities of ICUDDR in Nigeria. It's not a regional report, it's not a continental report. The regional report would have been given by Professor Moses, but is not here. And the continental report by Dr. Beatrice Katungo, she's also not here for some reasons. And so I'm going to talk about what we have done in the country, Nigeria. And you can see the title of my paper. International Consortium for Universities Drug International Consortium of Universities for Drug Demand Reduction in Nigeria, background, activities, challenges and prospects. And I decided to leave it in word form I have a PowerPoint equivalent, but I left it in word form so that the audience can follow along, because there could be differences in intonation and pronunciation. Okay? So, where is it? Down arrow key. Can I have it? Yeah, so I'd like to first appreciate. Yeah. This is down. Okay. So please, I take this opportunity to thank the board and management of ICUDDR for their support that enabled me to participate at this all-important, really international conference. In particular, Dr. Kelvin Movi, the review director of ICUDDR, has been a good boss, and his wonderful team. You are the best. And so, the paper examined the historical background and activities of ICUDDR in Nigeria. It noted the various achievements of the organization, including membership drive and expansion, advocacy for policy involvement, improvement for drug demand reduction, support for universities in substance use prevention measures, collaboration between members of ICUDDR and ISOP, as well as the International Technology Transfer Center in Nigeria, initiation of postgraduate addiction intervention programs in some Nigerian universities, as well as curriculum development support for the establishment of addiction intervention graduate program in another African country. The presentation also explains some of the challenges that currently confront the organization in Nigeria. These include lack of mutual synergic integration of the various leadership levels in the continent, with obvious negative impacts on agenda setting, performance evaluation, supervision, and feedback mechanisms. In addition, the lack of legal status of ICUDDR in Nigeria is a challenge for collaboration. Okay? So, we'll move on. So, background, can I have the mobile microphone? Yeah. So the history of ICUDDR in Nigeria could be traced to the 2018 ISOP conference held in Nairobi, Kenya. During the conference, a foundational sub-conference of ICUDDR was convened and coordinated by Dr. Kim Johnson, the immediate past executive director of ICUDDR, and Karen Hopkins, Ellis, participants were essentially faculty members from universities in Africa. Sorry. Yeah. So in Africa, and faculty members from universities in Africa who had one thing or another to do with substance use prevention, treatment, recovery, research, or were in the appropriate related professions such as psychology, sociology, psychiatry, counseling, and education, among others. Different presentations were made by each country delegate on the situation of substance use and the role of universities in substance use prevention and treatment in their various countries. Nigeria had a delegation that also presented, which I was privileged to be one of them. At the end of the meeting, the details of the participants were collected by ICUDDR office, and that formed a nuclear data for further activities of ICUDDR in Africa and in Nigeria. And this was followed by an African Union ICUDDR organized meeting that held in 2019 at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. It was at this meeting that different officers were nominated to steer the activities of the organization in Africa. These nominations were not only for the leadership of ICUDDR in the region, but also for the various blocks or regions, and as much as possible for the individual countries that participated. Professor Bola Ola was appointed to lead ICUDDR in Nigeria with myself as his assistant. With his relocation to Australia I was appointed the country director. Now, our activities. First and foremost, we created a communication platform. Apart from identifying and organizing members, a WhatsApp platform was created which formed the medium of communication and for information dissemination. And then we have to appoint a small executive council, 3-member executive council, with myself coordinating an assistant and a secretary. Okay, and then we moved on to publication. A journal publication entitled Developing Curriculum for the Training of Non-Specialists in Addiction Studies in Nigerian Universities. The Journal of Nigerian ICUDDR theme was published in 2021 in Addictology. And then there have been many other publications by ICUDDR members in the country. Now, participation in drug use prevention and treatment webinars and workshops. In addition, ICUDDR members in Nigeria have participated in a number of webinars and workshops, both as resource persons and the participants, including monthly webinar organized by ISOP International. Furthermore, members of the organization in Nigeria have, in one way or the other, influenced many professional bodies to have special workshops and sessions on drug-related issues during their professional conferences and other activities. In the past 1 year, for instance, the Nigerian Psychological Association, the International Society of Substance Use and Treatment Professionals, the Nigerian Association of Clinical Psychologists, the Nigerian Association of Forensic Psychologists, and lately, on 12th June 2024, the Nigerian Association of Social Psychologists have all had sessions on drug-related themes during their conferences. The need for universities to develop and mount addiction intervention programs have always been canvassed during these sessions. Establishment of postgraduate programs in addiction science. 2 universities in Nigeria have established a postgraduate program in addiction science. They are Nnamdi Azikiwe University, my humble university, and Niger Delta University. The first Nnamdi Azikiwe University has a master's degree program, and Niger Delta State University a postgraduate diploma program. There are other universities at different levels of approval, like Benue State University, Rivers State University, but because they have not been approved finally, so we would not add them here. Now, research on current situation of drug abuse in Nigeria. We have constituted a technical committee that has worked out details and is implementing research protocol on the situation of drug abuse in Nigeria. Members of the organization have noted that a number of training and intervention programs have been done in the country in the past 5 to 8 years to promote evidence-based approaches to drug use prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and follow-up services. Yet, it does appear that these programs, including those pioneered by UNODC, such as the TreatNet program, those promoted by Colombo Plan, such as Universal Prevention Curriculum, Universal Treatment Curriculum, and many other prevention, intervention, and recovery programs, have not, in our opinion, had the desired impact in reducing the incidence, epidemiology, and control of substance use in Nigeria. We therefore need evidence to understand the extant situation of things in order to inform action. It is believed that over 5,000 Nigerian professionals have been trained in one form or the other of evidence-based drug use prevention, treatment, recovery, follow-up services in the last 5 years. The study seeks to interface with these trained individuals to assess their impression on the impact of their training on drug use situation in the country and treatment. It also seeks to explore their possible suggestions on how best to maximize the impact of their training on drug use situation in Nigeria. We count on the assistance of ICUDDR in this regard. As a result of the research, we provide new set of evidence that can inform new direction. Now, in collaboration with ISOP and ITTC Nigeria, many members of ICUDDR in Nigeria also belong to ISOP, and this has provided a good working relationship between the two organizations. Most recently, in Nigeria, ICUDDR has opened collaboration with International Technology Transfer Center, ITTC, with her participation at the inaugural meeting of the Advisory Board of ITTC in Abuja, Nigeria, in the first quarter of 2024. Some engagements between the two organizations have held since the inauguration. Support for the hosting of World Drug Day in Nigeria. Over many years, ICUDDR in Nigeria has collaborated with ISOP and various organizations, especially universities, in celebrating the World Drug Day. For instance, at Hala University, ICUDDR has, in the last 3 years, collaborated with Hala University, ISOP, and National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Anambra State Command, in the celebration of the World Drug Day. One of the aims of this collaboration, during which all manner of significant persons, including top government officials, attend, is policy advocacy for prevention and capacity building. We were privileged to have had the current executive director of ICUDDR as one of our special guest speakers in one of the events. Thank you, Dr. Movi, for that support, which was particularly recognized by the university. For 2024 celebration of the World Drug Day, a collaborative arrangement, just like the previous years, was implemented on 26th of June 2024 in my university. Inauguration of War Against Drug Abuse, WADA, and its Executive Council at Hala University. In 2023, the 2020 celebration of World Drug Day was marked with the inauguration of War Against Drug Abuse at Hala University. Apart from promoting drug use prevention activities on campus, the organization, among other functions, is part of the university intelligence community to report any form of sale or trafficking of banned intoxicating substances within and around the university campus. The official swearing-in ceremony of members of the Index Executive Committee of the University of the organization was formally launched in a colorful ceremony by the Vice Chancellor of the University and Deputy Commandant, Anambra State Command of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, on Friday, the 10th of June, 2024. Development of drug use prevention policy at Hala University. ICUDDR, through its national coordinator, my humble self, has through several presentations at the Senate of the university and other fora at the university influenced development and adoption of Hala University drug use prevention policy. Until recently, the university did not have a drug use prevention policy. However, the repeated and relentless effort, the university now has a drug use prevention policy approved finally by the Senate on Wednesday, the 9th of June 2024, after a very long and challenging process. Thank you. This, in our view, is a significant milestone in development of the university and in protecting students and staff from avoidable exposure to drug use. Professor Ezenwa and his team are very thankful to the former Vice Chancellor, who is now, the Vice Chancellor is now former, and the then acting, the then DVC, Deputy Vice Chancellor, is now acting Vice Chancellor, for their support and approval of this document. Membership drive, using different opportunities such as conferences, media engagements, and professional platforms in Nigeria, ICUDDR has advocated for membership expansion. In the course of interfacing with intending new members, ICUDDR identifies some areas on the membership form that may need the attention of the ICUDDR headquarters. The issues identified have been articulated and are before the ICUDDR headquarters in US. And I'll give you an example. There are a number of universities in the country who have joined ICUDDR online on the ICUDDR website without connecting with us. We don't even know that they are members of our organization. Okay? So we have brought this to the attention of ICUDDR so that there should be some form of connection between individual universities joining on their own and the local ICUDDR so that we can connect and work more collaboratively. So we're waiting for some form of response also from ICUDDR. I'm happy Kari is here. Now, the next conference of ICUDDR in Nigeria, the first conference of ICUDDR in Nigeria has been fixed for 13th of November 2024. The virtual conference will focus on the theme, policy integration and addressing drug-related and mental health needs in Nigerian universities. The sub-themes include 1. Academic community's response in addressing students' drug-related and mental health issues in Nigeria. 2, collaborative approaches to drug demand reduction in Nigerian universities. 3, promoting evidence-based practice prevention of drug use among Nigerian universities and Nigerian students. We hope on the support of ICUDDR also in the implementation of this, which in our view is a very important data gathering and advocacy program. Support for development of addiction intervention program in another African country. Okay? Well, because of time, I have to go a little more. We have been able to collaborate with a few African countries, and one of the countries already has adopted our program for implementation in their national universities. We have also made some contributions to the newsletter, ICUDDR newsletter, and now we look at some of the challenges. One of the main challenges we have is financial support. To date, there is no financial support, no form of support from ICUDDR to ICUDDR Nigeria. All we've been using our personal resources and so on. For the fact that the organization is not registered in Nigeria, it has no legal status, so you cannot approach government agencies or other organizations for collaboration. And so we expect that some form of solution should be found to address that. The second point is the issue about appointments. When people are appointed into offices, you expect some form of letters to define roles and responsibilities, tenures, and so on and so forth. We expect something like that is yet to happen. Just like office space, there's no office space, we have to use personal offices. My office in the university is the office I sit in the country. And now I'm on sabbatical leave, it is locked. Everything comes to my laptop to coordinate. But if I have an office, then we have a secretary somebody can take, not just myself. Or I go out, something happens to me, and they say no information to collect back. So we need some form of little office to be able to coordinate the activities of the organization. And this is very important for us in Nigeria, because Nigeria is a very large country, close to 230 million people. And if ICUDDR succeeds in Nigeria, there is a tendency to overshoot or influence other African countries. This is extremely important. And we have this in mind. Now, because of the current situation, and like I've explained, it is difficult to make long-term planning, okay, because of resource limitation. And then, one important thing also to note is about leadership. I think I have to read this. Some form of integration is required between the leadership at the continental, at the regional, and at the country level. Those in the country, in our view, those in the country or leaders at the country level are like foot soldiers. So some form of regular meetings are required between regional leaders and continental leaders on a regular basis, and setting targets for individual countries and so on to be able to fast track the activities of the organization. Now, prospects, we have huge prospects for the activities of ICUDDR. There is so much enthusiasm among members, and I guess if some of these problems are addressed, there will be huge expansion of the activities of the organization. We also intend to move our activities to other regional countries, other countries in the sub-region, starting with English-speaking countries, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gambia, and Liberia, to extend the activities of ICUDDR. Incidentally, I've been the president of Nigerian Psychology Association for many years, and I have some form of connection with some of other psychology leaders in Africa. We all belong to PAM, African Psychology Union. So if we have any resource available, it will be easier to connect with them and extend the ICUDDR agenda to these countries. Conclusion, I think I see a new ICUDDR under the leadership of Dr. Mulvey and his team. I recall his first letter on assumption of office to us, where he called for increased collaboration amongst us. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa with a large economy and youthful population. Indeed, every fifth black African is in Nigeria. There is therefore a great hope for ICUDDR in Nigeria with its effect, expected effect, multiplier effect on ICUDDR Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ezenwa. All right, thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our final speaker for today, my colleague, Hala Najm. Hala Najm is a registered pharmacist. She's holding a master's degree in public health from the American University of Beirut, Lebanon. She furthered her education through the Fulbright Hubert Humphrey Fellowship, specializing in substance use prevention, treatment, and recovery at Virginia Commonwealth University in the U.S. Hala dedicates her time as program manager for research at ICUDDR and as scientific support coordinator for ISA. And Hala has forged collaborations with local and regional nonprofit organizations, higher ed, and governmental entities across the Middle East and North Africa. In her role as senior abatement program researcher, she spearheaded the development of a comprehensive senior abatement toolkit for the Virginia Opioid Abatement Authority. Hala's dedication to substance use advocacy is evident through her ICAP prevention credentials, her position as a trainer in educational prevention programs like INET Plus, EUPC, Unplugged, and Line Up Live Up, among others. And I think her dedication is evident in her work for us at ICUDDR as well. Hala, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Corey. I will just stay seated on the panel here. So as I listen to the fantastic work that my colleagues on this panel have been talking about, and the past years of it, the past activities that they have been doing in the past years, and the organizing upcoming activities, as Dr. Alfonso was mentioning, I feel the pressure that I have to have much more to say in 2 years. So as the coordinator, the regional coordinator for the Middle East, we kicked off our activities, mainly membership activities, 3 months ago. So we are still in the beginning, in the preliminary phases of kicking off the activities. So I don't have honestly much to say other than if you know anyone living in the Middle East, any faculty member that you've collaborated with in the Middle Eastern regions, please do let them connect with ICUDDR, and we'd love to be in touch with them and then expand our work with them. But what I will be also talking about is the work that the research department or the research center is doing is working on at ICUDDR, which is also a new department. So some activities are, if you are ICUDDR members and you receive our monthly newsletters, you probably realize that there's a new section in the newsletter called the scientific column. So we kicked this column off 2 months ago. This is our second month. Last month was our first inaugural edition. And the aim of this column is to disseminate the research that all of you have been doing across the world. So any research that you would like to disseminate, please do be in touch with us. Let us know that you're interested in writing the scientific column, and then we will go through our rigorous process and get back to you on whether we can collaborate on this, or maybe in future years we could. Another activity that the research center is working on is grant acquisition, so that eventually we can have collaborations globally with, again, all of you, and have research activities that are regional in collaboration with ICUDDR. More importantly is the work that we are doing with the early career researchers, and as we try to develop their skills, since they're the future of addiction science, they're the future addiction scientists. So what we're trying to do is workshops or webinars, such as the workshop that we had on publishing addiction science with Dr. Bates, and we invite you to let us know if any of your students would also like to take it, so we can also coordinate a webinar, maybe, or a workshop in our next conference. Another activity that we're working on is developing more programs for the early career researchers mainly, which allows us to collaborate and partner with different universities globally, so that we can actually implement research, and then ICUDDR becomes a research center for the global umbrella under which universities can actually collaborate and get funding. So thank you, Corley, for this opportunity. Please do let me know if you have any other ideas, any other programs that you would like to collaborate on, and we're happy to coordinate on those. Thank you so much.
Thank Thank you, Hala, for sharing the important work that you've been doing on behalf of ICUDDR. And you heard me also say she works with ISIP, so she's a great contact for those of you who are here. I do want to take some time for questions, but just a few things that came up as we were talking, something to share with you and really celebrate. We had our last conference in Chiang Mai, and that was 10 months ago because it's in August. 10 months ago. Since then, we've had 159 universities join us. We've had 441 new faculty members in 12 new countries. And that growth is only possible because of the work of the people on this stage and because of the work of the people in the room as well. So thank you for helping us to spread our message that way. Yeah. A hand for all of you. And I also want to make sure that I thank our hosts here in Greece. This has been a wonderful place to visit. Big thanks to the volunteers. I don't know if you realize, but we've had like 40 volunteers for this conference who've been doing all kinds of amazing things behind the scenes. And for our interpreters who are in the back of the room, we're very appreciative of you helping us to expand our message. Thank you. So let's take a minute for questions. And Luis, may I ask you to work the microphone for us if we have any questions? Luis will have our microphone. Luis is one of our interns with ICUDDR this summer. Luis Ortiz, we're very happy to be working with him as well. Any questions? Very good. No questions. Everything we shared was so clear. Crystal clear. I hope that what you heard is the great diversity of the work that happens around regions because sometimes in our central office, we're thinking sort of the international perspective and thinking globally, but really the folks who are in the regions are always reminding us that change is really happening one person at a time, one family at a time, one community, one region. And so that's all of you and your work. Yes, thank you.
The workshop you offered prior to the training, will you be making that information or that workshop available again online or in another format? Because we really wanted to go but couldn't.
So we do have it, so we've done it before as a webinar, so once we're done you can share your email with me and I can send you the playlist that we have on YouTube for the webinar, if that's...
That would be fabulous. Research is not my specialty at all. I come from the other side and I'm being sucked into the world slowly.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. And I will just mention, we have done Dr. Pates' session a few times, so there's already a playlist of his sessions on YouTube. Certainly we'd like to, as Hala said, offer this again as a webinar. We had many people who weren't able to be here with us today due to visa issues, and so a webinar will allow us to be inclusive and give them the opportunity as well. Looks like we have a question at the back of the room. One moment, please.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes, all of your presentations were very interesting, and I was so interested to hear, the international dimension that you bring in. I just want to add just a few things from my own. I'm here from the Hellenic Open University, a criminologist, and I have also worked with the National Organization Against Drug Addiction in Athens. So I am relevant with the field. I have suffered from addiction, from nicotine addiction myself, and I have been able to beat it. And after I have been able to analyze my own case, I know now, and I want to share with you, that maybe I can make it relevant with your own projects, that we are given addiction. The choice is never really, 70% is not our choice to start with an addiction. Other people can influence our minds through space weapons, unfortunately. And now humanity is waking up to the fact. And they play with our minds and our bodies. And they give us a lot of addiction and mental health. It is not our own choice. And we have these NATO complex people that try to control and manage the population against us, and all the people that seek treatment from addiction need to know that, it's not their fault that they got involved with addiction, and that if they find it hard to get a proper, healing and abstinence from addiction, it's not their fault either, because we have these people against us, and they always sabotage our efforts of healing. So we need to keep strong and support ourselves while we fight. We don't only fight the substances, we fight them as well. So we don't have a blame for addiction. This is it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. I appreciate that, speaking to the issue of stigma and also access to care. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for the presentations. My question goes to Professor Ezenwa. Nigeria has, like you mentioned, a large population and quite a number of universities, right? Have you made any efforts, you and your colleagues like Professor Moses, have you made any efforts to include as many universities, especially the ones with medical schools? Have there been any efforts as, at your level, as a country and as universities that are in ICUDDR before the others? Probably your university is one of those that was the first to join. I just want to know this because I'm trying to see how I can bring more universities in my country to awareness of this, and I would like to know what you've done, because I imagine your approach would probably be more suitable for my country, as we have similar, probably social-cultural, Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Like I said, we have resource limitation. Okay, we don't have $1 funding from ICUDDR. We don't have from government. What we've been doing, many of our members very enthusiastic. So if we have an idea, a conference is coming up, we organize and see if we can approach the local organizing committee if they can consider any issue related to drugs. Because there is a huge attention also by government on drug use reduction. And a good number of organizations do agree. Some will ask for some payments in order to have a session and say we don't have money to pay. And those who agree, we hold a session. We volunteer, we hold a session, we ask enough of our members to participate. And then we talk about substance use, talk about prevention, talk about ICUDDR, talk about the need for instituting training facilities, especially in higher institutions, for capacity building to support the workforce. And then for me, in particular, like I said, having led the Nigerian Psychological Association for 2 tenures, I have a lot of, let me not use the word influence, but I have some capacity to send communication to even the various divisions. Okay, and the psychologists don't understand this. So many of them, once we make this request, they put it in the program and they give it enough publicity and then ensure that members participate. Then other organizations, for example, UNICEF or other non-governmental organizations, if some of us are invited as resource persons, and if the theme is related to drug use, we also use the opportunity to talk about drug use. So part of what we plan to do if we have resources is to open a website for ICUDDR in Nigeria where we can easily refer people for information. Because sometimes people want to know a little more about it. For the moment, we refer them to ICUDDR international website, but it's not enough for our own use and to be able to carry the people along. So I think, like I said, if we're able to change the narrative, especially in terms of support, I'm sure we're able to do a little more, much more. Thank you.
And I just want to take the opportunity to also ask on the table, Dr. Prapapun and Alfonso, who've also worked with universities to build the membership. The numbers I just gave, obviously everybody's been doing that. What's been successful in your regions?
To support the activities among us, I think it is very important for the business growth of ICUDDR in our region. So it's up to the activity of university. For example, if South Korea interesting to join the activities of research, that's fine. Or in the country of Cambodia, Laos, PDRs, or other country, Myanmar, that would like to have a course, so they send the student join us and got a degree and return to that country. And we still have support our alumni because we have a lot of grant that support. And it is not enough that the student and staff would like to have a career path in their professional. So they help initiate the publication. For example, this year we have two dentists here, Dr. Thanaporn and Dr. Popcorn Chilai Kanyalat. Because we have a routine to research, talk about the oral cavity have problem related SUD. So we support two of them join this meeting for inspiration and learn more about substance use disorder. This is an example that we support among region over 100 university. So in our region, we try to keep everyone connect with via the webinars and conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prapapun, for that message, which is finding out the needs and interests of the university and then how we can connect to the work that we're doing. Alfonso, do you have anything to add?
Yes, from our perspective, from the OAS, we have a vision and ambition, because as I said, we have a mandate of the member states through the National Drug Commission. We think that that's very important to connect the universities, the academic work, with the people that make decisions on the public policies. We are talking here with high-level commissioners from 34 OAS member states. I said from Ministries of Health, Ministries of Education. They are the policymakers in the member states, and they are repeating that evidence base is important, but it's just in the paper. It's the universities, those who generate the evidence and work in academic programs and doing research in the area. So one of our vision in the new 2025 work plan is to connect and transfer information from the universities, the academic world, to the public policy through the National Drug Commissioners. As I say, and I repeat, the National Drug Commissioners are the decision makers, the people who implement the program officially in the member states. So they need some guidance, and I'm pretty sure that the universities have the guidelines to propose new areas of research, new programs based on scientific evidence. So my promise to the regional working group on Monday was to connect the universities with the policymakers in the member states. This is one of the key points for the next year.
Thank you, Alfonso. We are also planning some policy webinars as well to support the work across the regions, because we know that's a new area. We, I think, are going to wrap up just a few minutes early because we have lunch, and I want you all to have a chance to get over there and enjoy your meal with your colleagues. Thank you so much for being here today, and I hope you all heard a very clear invitation to join us in our work. And Dr. Prapapun invites you to come up and have a photo.
Take a good photo all together. It's like we will share the commitment, connectivities among us. Thank you.